Hi, my friends. Okay, so here we have some updates for countries that need to be cleaned up. Okay, a few other things I still have to post. I wrote it down, but here basic explanation, okay, on how to do. So the headquarters just have to let you know at the end, by the first 4 weeks or so of the 28 volunteer weeks. I think that's planned. We're going to let you know which university is the chosen one and where they will be located. For everything else, every country have to start being clean up and get organized themselves, okay? Okay, my friends, so I have here an idea of a land that needs to be empty out. So this can be a county, a state, or even a whole country, because some countries are such in a cold area, they don't have many cities, right? And they don't have many rural areas as well. All right, if they are part of their own country, families from areas. So let's imagine this one, it's from the north hemisphere, right? Okay, just for you to have an idea. So the idea is for them to start from the extremities of the poles, right? North Pole, South Pole, and going towards the equator, right? Okay, so let's pretend this might be Canada or I don't know, Alaska, Finland, or Sweden, whichever it is. So just an idea, okay? The countries that gonna be completely, the areas they're gonna be completely taken out. Okay. So we have the travel team. Let's call the rural area team because to be really clear. So everyone moving out, so everyone with young children, as I said, they're not staying on those cities or rural areas, right? So they have to already move. They can even be here a little bit, while they wait, but they're not. They're already clearing up the area most as possible, everything they own. So they do their 4 originals of the property given the 2 originals, sorry, of the property given away in the name of the peace organization. So they're gonna give to the university, whichever they have. If places don't have university, they're going to give to a school, right? Okay, so and they can wait here just waiting to get to see where they're going, right? Instead of waiting on those areas, because we have to start as soon as possible. Places that can already start emptying out, families that can start already moving out, that's fine. If they have young children, if they have teens, the teens gonna stay and work, right? I think I said 16 years old and older. I think that's fine. Yeah, I think 16 years old and older, right? Because they're really capable, or even 15. Yeah, let's do 15, right? The whole family needs to be together. So here's an improve because I put 18 before. The whole family. the couple, their children, the grandparents, and even siblings, if they're going together to another country. So they work together, they be together there, okay? All right, okay. So they will have one truck with their own things. Why? Because people are going to be emptying out everything. Their furniture, stoves, refrigerator, everything, they're already going to be taken out. Okay, on this truck, that's what we're going to have. The rural area team, because they're going to be moving, right? Okay, so in some places, because it's not even sustainable to keep hotels with a bunch of things. So if they have a church, for example, or a big deposit room, right? Because the family is going to sleep, in groups. Remember we say? So one family, and here 2 tables with some cardboard. Another family sleep, table and 2 chairs and cardboard. Another family, so that's how they're gonna sleep in some situations. If they have hotels available, fine, but if they don't, that's how they're gonna sleep to be the most, empty out the most as possible. All right, so this truck, they're going to have their own furniture. It's just one truck for them to eat, for them to study. Folding tables, very strong, all plastic, easy to clean, easy to wash. Folding chairs, they all tuck in on their truck. So they don't need every hotel to wait for them and have furniture for them, and have even a small refrigerator, right? And their own small stove, right? A simple stove, that lightweight refrigerator, a stove, because you're not using oven anyways, right? All right, so the food they can carry, right? Dry food, and also their little, I'm gonna say like carpet, right? Or rug for each family. If they're a little fuzzy, that's plenty. They can sleep there. They can use their comforters, right, on the top of this carpet, and it's easy to wash, and before they start, and and every 2 or 4 months, depends on their reality. Okay, because places will be really clean. All right. So I said grandparents gonna go with them. The grandparents can be with the team working at the rural areas, doing whichever is needed. And they can also be at this determined location, such as one of the house. So, for example, they're cleaning up this area. They're going to choose one big house or one school or one church to be. So the grandparents, according to their capacity, can stay there cleaning. It's a work as well, right? Organizing paperwork, doing reports, or whichever it is, right? Receiving food coming in, or having items ready that will be taken out. All right, so we have trucks or trains going in both directions. So whichever the country has, right? So the trucks will go out from all these areas with furniture, with the animals, family dogs, right? They can go to be adopted in other cities, right? In other locations, okay? And items to be recycled, right? Because we're not going to leave those things. We're just leaving concrete. That's very important. Concrete, cement, only where we can, the nature can really take over, because some places too cold. Okay, so we need to cover them up with dirt. We're not leaving them there, right? So we are going to cover them with the mulch from the own trees, with dirt from other areas. Cover them up, the concrete and the cement. Take most as iron bars, for construction. Take most as possible, and the furniture already gone. All right, so those trucks are getting out. And they will be coming in with what? With trees, with seeds, and some fresh food for the families. Fresh food will be what? Vegetables, right? Hard vegetables that they last long time, and a little bit of salad. They don't last too long, but according to how often those trucks is still going in and out. Okay, so, and here gonna be the carpets, right? The carpet beds and the comforters, right? To put on the top and to cover them up because probably those regions are cold. Okay, so, and the trucks will also be going out with farm animal, right? For all the animals of all types, furniture from every site, okay? Everything gonna be taken out. Appliances, we're not leaving anything. We're only gonna leave, as I said, concrete and cement, right? That needs to be covered up, okay? All right. So when they bring seeds and trees, so some places are very good also with flowers. So we bring bulbs of, I don't know, because many cold places have many different flowers. The main thing is to cover the land with something. So they already, so let's say they already did this, they already did that, cities and rural areas. I'm just giving some examples. So they're getting in. All right. So before they leave or afterwards, they have to cover all the concrete of all the houses, buildings. They have to cover them up. So they can dig from other areas, right? Mountains, whichever is the university of each place will make a plan. I'm just giving basic idea and everyone gonna do according to their reality, right? Okay, so let's say this is the most convenient, or maybe for them as a base. So they leave this, go to here, and then they go to here. I'm just giving some ideas, and then go to here and have another group, for example, coming here and coming here and then coming here and then coming here. So the universities gonna make a plan, how many teams and how big are those teams, because it's better to have big teams and really get the things done. Okay, so families that live in other places, if they have teens and if they're part of the same country, yes, they can apply, and instead of leaving those cities, right, they are going to work. All right? Okay, with parents and grandparents. Of course, everyone needs to be healthy. All right? If they have something really that's not major, that can be healed for sure, that's fine. You give them turmeric. They're going to eat really healthy. Everyone going to take a lot of sun, have a lot of fresh air. Okay? All right. About the demolition dust, already said, not going to touch that subject anymore. Okay. So then they get the dirt from whichever areas they are, close to this, to be sustainable, to be really close, such as 1 hour away or so, and bring in. After demolition, bring in, okay? And then gonna plant some trees in the area, some trees and bulbs, and whichever is possible, okay? Now, and and spread the seeds, and I don't know, according to the reality of each area, we are not going back anymore, right? After the 28 weeks, we're not going back because we're not going to have airports, we're not going to have trains anymore, right? Okay. The only one thing I don't know yet is helicopters. So helicopters might come on summer for these areas to plant more. They can bring trees, but then how are we gonna water them? Some places I don't know if they even rain too much or not. So This I leave to the universities to figure out, because that's reasonable, right? They can leave very small areas, close, just for helicopters to plant some trees in areas they didn't plant yet. And now they can leave already many seeds and bulbs, because just to leave a lot of flowers, right, that helps. A lot of bulbs, with variety, most as possible, big variety for each area, okay, for each area. All right, so let's talk about state and national parks. The same way, we have to take everything out. We have to take, if they have, some places have proper gates, entrance, cabins, hotels, everything needs to be taken out as well, okay? All right, and cover them up, take the best, all the items that can be recyclable, right? And cover them really well. So we need professionals in the area, for demolition, and then many people to plant those trees and seeds. Okay. Now let's talk about their base. So for example, here, right, it's one base, but then this base doesn't exist anymore. The base is here, for example, right, in this other rural area or city, whichever. All right, at the base, they're gonna have their breakfast there. They're going to have their lunch, dinner, all the meals gonna be there. When they go to their work area, so let's say this is their work area here, right? They can bring water, some snacks such as some vegetables, nuts, right? Something they prepare, that's okay, right? But then they're also going to study here, because that's the most sustainable. Remember the tables I told you, folding tables, folding chairs. So they eat all the meals here and they study. So one team goes with the bus, right? At lunchtime to pick up the group that was working, already bring the ones who were studying. The main thing is for everyone to work 5 hours, and here they're going to study 5 hours, because really important for them to be really knowledgeable, okay, and organized. All right, so we are also taking out all airports, right, and all rail tracks. Rail tracks already said a little bit about them. While we are using them, that's fine. People can use some wagons, right? Instead of churches or, hotels, they can use some wagons. So let's say here is on a coast, there's a train. Yeah, they can use most as possible. Instead of trucks, right, going in and out, they can use trains going in and out, and use trucks only in the area there's no train tracks, because that's very sustainable. Okay, very sustainable. So each university gonna make a plan, very organized, very objective, right, to show to us, the headquarters, right, for all countries in all areas, okay? And we are going to have teams to be checking them up. All right, details gonna be separate. So they have a main, they have to send to the email 2 plans. One plan is the main plan, very objective, basic plan, which cities gonna be first, or which states, or whichever. And then the second plan with all details of all types, okay? From water to food and everything. All right. So we have to remember that is really a lot needs to get out that can be recycled. For example, or not, right? But we cannot leave underground anything. No subways, no nothing underground. Houses, that had all of them need to be properly demolished. Houses that have underground tunnels or underground rooms, okay, all taken out. gas stations, everything gonna be taken out, okay, and properly demolished. Caves, everything else according to our rules and guidelines as well. So if they have islands that are not authorized, they need to take the islands out as well. Okay, so they have to make a plan. Each country needs to make a plan. So how are we going to do that? The idea is like that. First, all universities going to take care of their own area. So every county and every state, right? And then they're going to send to the country, the university chosen for the whole country. So they're gonna have all these things, but who gonna make are the small universities. If they don't have universities, okay, put the high school students to work, because some counties might not have university. Maybe it's one university here, not the one only there, whichever, I don't know. So put the high school students to work before they leave. Put them to work, right? With their teachers, they're smart enough and they can make this plan with this basic idea. All right? Okay, so basically it's that. And here, with the carpet that I said, the comforter, of course, everybody can have one pillow and enough blankets, of course, right? They can also bring with them the heaters, right? The heaters, fans to dry the shoes, right? And one washer and one dryer. Okay, so this truck, I think, or at the train, they can get wagons already set up with this thing. So, for example, this team, if they have, let's use them because that's the most sustainable. Okay, if they have rail tracks, right? If they don't, we're going to use roads. We have to demolish the roads afterwards, As they are leaving those spaces already, they will have to demolish the roads as well and cover them up. So they need to always have a base, right? Which base they're going to be. Or leave one house at the rural area, chosen big house or big church or big school, whichever. Or school is hard because if it's a small school, makes sense, right? Because every school would have a gym area or a cafeteria. People can sleep and eat and study, right? Okay, so they will have a chosen area and then they have to go back to demolish that road. Okay, and then they were going to be here, for example, and then they have to be working to demolish this road. After all building is gone, demolish the road and keep going, all right? So that's how we're going to do. So we're going to have local universities, organizing themselves, and then they can send to the state, because every country has state, right? And then, as they were previously, just for people to, because they already know that, okay? Everywhere that will be demolished, we are going to use the county as they were district, right? And the state as they were before. And then they send to the chosen country university. All right. This chosen university might be here, for example, and not at the very last place, because maybe here they're more organized or bigger or more convenient, whichever it is. Okay, but needs to be the closest. Oh, sorry, we're not doing that. We'll be here. Okay, so if we don't have a university at the last, you see here, the last city towards the equator, right, where we have to clean up, we will choose university teachers, right, that will come from somewhere. They're going to stay here. They're going to stay where? In a hotel or in a church, or they're going to be working here with the papers of the university. For example, let's say they used to work here, right? The university used to be here or here, but we're not having. This will be one of the first getting out. So they just come, they're going to be here. whichever, how many we need, 80, 100, how many couples we will need working there. And they will have the paperwork of the university, and they will have the stamps still, old stamps, to gather all this paperwork. Might be a few hundreds, might be a few thousands or millions of family moving out, whichever country it is, right? Okay, so they're gonna have enough space and enough people and they are going to be the ones in how many people they need to be at this last convenient city, the last city when everything is done. Okay, so I already talked about the working teams, but we also need inspectors. Inspectors will be of their own county. Okay, so let's say this is a county here, right? So when they close everything up, the team is not only one or two couples. The team gonna check all the items and fill out the report. Okay, so step by step, all the furniture were taken out? Yes. All the owners already signed and make 2 original papers giving their land and authorizing the land to be demolished? Yes. And giving the land in the name of the peace organization? Yes. Everything, all the buildings were taken out? Yes. All the concrete was covered up in dirt? Yes. Okay. And then all the area was placed bulbs and trees and whichever was the plan? Yes. Okay. And then they finish their report, and maybe the same team keep going and do the same along until they're here with these people. Okay. All right. And then when all the paperwork it's completed, might be in the middle, it depends how big they are and how many people are helping. Might be in the middle of the 28 weeks, might be at the end of the 28 weeks, whichever, might be just in 1 month, because some places don't leave many people at all, right? Okay, so they gather all their paperwork here, everything with proper keys. Remember, they need to be in a very safe place and everything else already talked about. Okay, so here will be about 100, 200 people working, gathering all these documents, filing them properly, everything organized, everything in alphabetical order. Okay, so we are going to do every country, gonna do everything in alphabetical order. So all the counties inside all the state inside their country, okay? And of course all the neighborhoods, right? Neighborhoods, and then comes to the county, and then comes to the state, and then comes to the university, and then comes to the country chosen university site. That's not a university, because we want to demolish universities because they're huge usually, right? Very big. Okay, so as I said, that might be a church or a big location that all these people can work and live close by, very close by, right? So let's say it's a church and a hotel, the last 2 buildings, because they need to eat, they need to study, right? Do their reports and everything, okay? All right. During their study time, they can do reports as well. Why I'm doing that? Because they're learning, right? They're learning, so they're gonna check online and do, and can also be, they can be preparing themselves for a future work they're going to have, so they can do that. Or they, for example, they're learning English. Yeah, so they can fill up the reports because need to be done in English, so they can translate the sentences. So reports can be done during study hours. They're practicing, right? They're practicing how their forms work. They're practicing English. Even people that already speak English, they're going to learn our own words that we cannot speak anymore, right? And of course, they're going to have teachers with them, okay? And we can have, The high school students can help, so they can be, because all these parents with proper positions have their children. So to start with, gonna be, let's say, 200 people working, because it's really a lot of paperwork that people will be bringing back, right? And they will be checking. And then go to 100, and then go to 80, and go, and then they finish up everything, pack everything, file everything, and then they're ready to be demolished as the last place, when everything, all the rail tracks, everything gone. So, and people, they have to make a proper plan. For example, how many teams there are. So let's say this team here, let me just get another color, because it might be a little easier, right? Okay, so let's say these 20 teams here working, right? And here, let's say, there's another 20 teams. Or here's more cities, so let's say here's 40 teams, and here is 20 teams, for example, okay? The plan, the right plan, is to more or less for them to be equal, right? More or less, so everyone will finish about the same month here. So they don't have to keep waiting until the other team completes their work, all right? So they're going to make a plan. It's always 2 or 4. So for example, if they make one big team here and one big team here, so it's 2. Or they can also make one big team here, another one here, another one here, another one here. That's okay. 4, but not 3. Always 2 or 4. Okay? All right. That's very good. Okay. So, I said something that is documents coming in, but they have to close the whole county. The whole county. It's ready. Yes. County. See here? Okay, so the whole county, it's ready. Yes. Okay. So they can finish. They will have the inspection and finish that area. All right? Okay, so basically it's that. And for the steps, the same way, because some steps can be combined according to each reality, because some cities have many buildings, right? They're going to take time, right? But some other rural areas, it is very reasonable. It's just some houses, right? Some land, maybe a few schools, few churches, villages, and quickly they're going to be done. So people need to make the plan and be approved. So as soon as the chosen university of each country, the headquarters will choose them. We're going to look online and already put online which university is in charge. So they can be from here, they can be from here, whichever. We're going to choose which university we are choosing, and will be listed at our website. It's in charge of the whole country, whichever they are. They get their paper that they already have, all the papers with headings printed, envelopes printed, stamps, right? And the whole team gonna be working at this location. So they might start a few days, they can be work here, and then they already have to go to their definite location, okay? They cannot be moving, okay? So let's say they're from here. Originally, the headquarters chose university from here. They cannot be here, then here, then here, then here, then here. No. They can be here, their own place to start until what is sustainable, okay? They can be here, until their county will be cleaned up or something, or they're working in other areas here, for example, okay? They can be here for a few weeks, and then they already go to their last location, this city or village, probably a village, not a city, not probably, for sure will be a village. Why is that? Because villages, They just need 2 main buildings, right? And maybe a place for an helicopter to bring them to an airport close by in another country or something, right? Okay, so here's not going to be airports, it's not going to be train stations anymore at the end, right? Just the rail trucks close to them. So let's say here, because they might be living here, and then they already go, if they have room, they already will be going to the other country, right? So this other country, and that's another talk I'm going to show in a minute. Now let's already tell about that. Okay, so for example, everything I was just saying belongs to this country. But this country here, right, also going to be demolished. So what we are leaving? So they're going to stay here, right? The universe is going to stay here as the last place. So they have, let's say here, they have a rail tracks, and here they're doing by trucks, right? That was the idea, right? They don't have rail tracks, all right? And as they will be going towards the equator, they have to keep demolished. Remember, then they work in this area. And then they work in this area, demolish here, right? Okay. So it will be here or maybe here. We're going to let you know this as well. The headquarters is going to let you know. Why? Because here there is an airport or a rail track for them to leave afterwards, right? With the last things, the last, to bring the last trees, to bring the last, so they won't be here, for example. Or the other way around. Here might be a good road, right? And not a rail tracks. So because they have to keep going in case this country, no one gonna live here. Or the part of the country, such as Spain, for example. I don't know about south of France, because when I look online, I think south of France all gonna go out. Probably a tiny bit gonna be left. But Italy gonna be divided in two, right? So we have quite a few countries like that. So we are going to let you know these two things, which university we are choosing and where they're going to be and what would be the most sustainable, okay? Because railroad tracks, I don't know, I don't have experience with dynamites, but railroad tracks will be taking the things out, put on a train and keep going, put on a train and keep going, and they're already living there. So that seems quite sustainable. They're already living on wagons, right? One is already the kitchen, the other is already showers and bathrooms, right? And it's better, this option, my point of view, but maybe I'm wrong. Better than roads, because roads sometimes they're very large, they need trucks, okay? So let's make a priority. So priority will always be railroad tracks. Yeah, because it's really more sustainable, because they keep going, they keep going. They live there, they come back there, and the buses gonna bring them to the work area and come back. Bring them to work area and come back. I think that's the most reasonable, railroad tracks. If someone, for some reason, if the roads are small and they, believe that that's the most sustained, that's okay too. All right. The other thing, for mountains, okay? Mountains, that they have railroad tracks going around, all of them will be taken out. If it's in an area we cannot live, take it out, okay? Also, in authorized countries, so here's another possibility, right? So let's make a little, okay, this is a country, it's authorized, but have many mountains that are not authorized, okay? So so let's say here's a good place to live, but it's very small, and here's another place to live in a bunch of mountains. all these places need to be evacuated as well, because it makes no sense to have small villages again in the middle of a bunch of mountains. We need cities with universities, with everything we need, with food, with cotton, with making paper, right? So we're not having tiny villages in authorized areas if everything around is not good or not sustainable. Okay? All right? If they can have a big city here with easy access, with trains to another city here, the same, or another country, then it's okay. But not small villages in the middle of a bunch of mountains or whichever it is, okay? Or Amazon or big rainforest. Make no sense for us to go to this place. We have so much land in other places. We are not going to have small cities or small villages in the middle of forests. Leave the forest there. We need forests, right? We are going to plant fruits. That we are going to do. All right. So I think I covered pretty well this called areas that are going to be polar areas, right? All the countries closing down. So the headquarters need to give two information. Which is the university chosen and which will be their city base, the last city base city or village. Okay, so only these two things. All the rest the own country gonna figure out themselves. Okay, all right. And if there is no university at a county or even a state, because some place in the middle of nowhere, right, they won't have university, who gonna be working? The high school students here, the high school students gonna be sending to the university, because every country have a university, right? The high school schools with their teachers gonna be sending proposals, always two proposals, remember, main one and one with all details. Even how many people is sustainable to work, how many machines and tractors of different types and everything. Okay? All right, so here we are. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about another possibility. Okay, all right, so the headquarters will make a commitment of up to 4 weeks to say which university it is. So all universities have to start working on their area, right? Their county, their state. If there are others, they put a line in the middle between both. Because this I didn't say. So, because if some counties have university and some does not, how will be the limit? The limit will be between both, or what in a way that will be the most reasonable, right? So, such as the county or a very large avenue or something like that, not in the middle of nowhere, right? Something that's really reasonable, or a range of mountains, okay? That of course can be much closer to one or much closer to another, all right? Okay, so the other thing I didn't say, okay, the study hours? So for checkup, for health checkups, because the clinics of all these places, gonna be still open for a little bit, right? And then they check up everyone, and then they can close down and keep moving, keep going towards the equator, all right? So health clinics, dental clinics, yes, they have to fix everyone. They're not staying behind to do these things afterwards. Okay, so they need to have all these families working. They need to have their checkups, complete health checkups, or any treatment needed, and also complete dental checkup. All right, so they are not taking out of their work hours, but yes, they can take out of their study hours, and will always be close by. So when I show you the end, at the end won't be clinic anymore, because everyone will be already taken care of, right? So every county, as soon as they check all the families, even the families that they're staying for a short period, for example, right? Because I put 2 or 4 different groups. So the first ones moving, the ones that are pregnant, have very young kids, right? They move because it makes no sense for them to stay there, not even to have treatment there. Because we need all these clinics busy with others, right? So everyone, I think I put up to 4 years old, right? They just have to leave the country, sign their papers, authorize demolition of properties they own, and empty everything, even furnitures and everything, and move, leave their country as soon as possible. Okay, we also have to see that when the furniture will be taken out, what furniture will be taken out, and because the most sustainable would be take the screws, turn them into mulch, and leave it right there. That's okay. So I'm very sorry I said to take the furniture. We're not taking furniture. Maybe some type of furniture will become recycled, right? Because some countries might have some metal furniture, not furniture, cabinets, right? File cabinets for schools and things like that. Okay? All right. And some might be incinerated. Okay? So the other, remember the line I made with rail tracks? So we can have one of those wagons to be an incinerated. It might work. So they have everything right there. Incinerator, place to sleep, place to cook and eat. Take the tables in and out so they can eat outside, but have inside room to cook some food. Yeah, we need some cooked food. Okay? All right. Okay. For these teams, they can have 2 cooked foods. So it can be one meat and one casserole, for example, right? Some days they can eat tuna, sardines, and save their aluminum cans. Some days they can have eggs, right? They need a variety of food, the best as possible. They can also have easy protein, because we know we can have protein from plants, right? We know that. But easy, because we can only have a bowl to eat, and we cannot be eating forever, right? So we're going to have a variety of things coming in for them to eat, because we are taking down farms, right? And fisheries that is sustainable. If they are close by, that is fine. If they're close by to the river or close to the ocean, yes, the fishery is going to still working and, provide food. Okay, so whichever is the most sustainable will be made, right? So farmers that still have chickens, and maybe one of those wagons, can be chickens. Yeah, train them. They go out, and put them in at night. One of these wagons can be chickens, right? So they can have eggs, for example. So we can have quite many wagons like that. One of the wagons can have all the tools, right? One of the wagons can have the dynamites, or the dynamite is completely different and come in another train afterwards. I don't know. We have to see, because everyone have completely different realities. All right? Okay. And every place that needs to have some trees trimmed for mulch, do that. Trim some, because like some state parks might have very good wood, so take the soft wood, turn them into mulch, so, mix already with dirt, so to be ready for the seeds they're putting there. Have good soil for soon as comes summer, for things to bloom, for things to, like daffodils and other things, that as soon as we have things planted everywhere. Okay. Now, I didn't talk much about state parks. So state parks, we are not leaving only what they have. We are already putting a lot of fruit trees or nuts, whichever it's good for the weather, right? State and national parks. Okay? All right. So that will be really important. So make a research and, bring them in, get everything that's available from nurseries, even from countries close by, that's fine. Bring them and start with the places further from the equator, right? As I already said. So for rural areas, state parks, we need a lot of trees, fruit trees, seeds, nuts, blooming trees, the best as possible. Cover them up. And also different varieties of potatoes and things, because everything, whichever is possible at your area, right, they are going to break down with time, and they are going to have different insects for summer, and some places are not that cold, they can have bacteria growing, and rain, right? Okay, so for places that does not rain, bring water, trucks of water, bring them, or have the trucks in the area, and water will be transported in wagons. Yeah, seal them properly. We have to find ways, right? Because in the northern hemisphere is coming cold months now, so that's okay for demolition and everything else. And then they wait for the last weeks of, if it's sustainable, right? They wait for the last weeks of the 28 weeks, right? To plant the trees, because then will be spring already and summer, right? And take out the railroad tracks or those small chosen roads, okay? But on the south hemisphere is the other way around. Plant right now the best you can while it's warm, while it's sunny, and we can water them, right? So both hemispheres have these opposite realities. And we are sending, all countries close by are sending the tall trees, nurseries everywhere sending the tall trees to put in the extremes the most as possible. Because for close by, we don't know yet if we will authorize tree planting afterwards. We will evaluate each country separately, okay? But start with the streams away from the equator, the most as possible, most variety as possible of everything: fruits, vegetables, nuts, roots, rhizomes. Okay, all right. So remember the two plans that the university needs to send to the headquarters, and the proper emails we're going to offer at the website, right? So the first plan is the main objectives, right? Just the basics, right? In objective points and all the titles, subtitles, objective points. But the second plan, it's with all details of all types, right? Okay, so on the first one, all the universities will already tell if it's sustainable to keep going afterwards the 28 weeks for tree planting or not. I think that's the most reasonable. So maybe some counties here and there of that country, and why. They have to explain why. So they're going to say yes or no and why. And the headquarters will approve or not each proposal. I think that's the most reason, because people from those areas, the university teachers, already know the area, and they already know, because if we have small roads or small railroad tracks, it's okay for us to keep going, right? Up to 4 years or so. I think that's reasonable. Let's try to keep to 4. We don't want too much. And we can make summer teams, right? Families that are willing to go and using railroad tracks. We can leave railroad tracks and small roads, you know, because the small roads on these cold places, they're gonna small roads and railroad tracks on summer vacations, they're gonna be clear of snow. That's what I wanna say, okay? All right, so the proposal will be 4 or 8 years. Yeah. 2, yeah, because are they do now or 4 or 8? I think it's good because we don't want to have 3 options, just 2 options. Okay, sorry. Yes, we're gonna have 4 options. So 28 weeks, 2 years, 4 years, and 8 years. So this way we have 4 options, okay? No more is needed for sure. Because we want those areas to be reforested the most as possible, okay? And for national parks to have plenty, everywhere to have plenty of fruit trees, because they will fall down, they will decay, and on summers they will create bacteria, break down, right? Okay? And on the spring will already come the flowers, and the insects will spread. You know, they will go from one country to another, and they will be fine. They will come up, you know, during every summer. Okay, even that the regions are cold, right? Okay. And the other thing I didn't talk about, it's for the wild animals. We have to clean up everything with the options we have right now. Okay, so all wild animals of all types. So we can, you know, leave behind very little things such as what? Rabbits, right? And lizards or things like that. But all those groups of animals that are not authorized, we have to clean them up. And how that will be done, at the very end or not, you know, because some will be easy to trap them and already get them, and some they live free, right? So what would be the most appropriate way? Okay, because we have to do the best we can, you know, to clean them up. We're not going to have, because so sorry here, they are in a list of extinction, we have to get them. Polar bears, deers, we have to find a way. Use the methods that we have right now, okay, for all of them, okay, all of them. At the ocean, you know, if they have whales and sharks, you know, the fisheries can keep going and keep taking them, all right? So at that main plan, the plan number one, right, the proposal number one, gonna have two, at the end, gonna have two different proposals. One's for land, that's for the tree planting I just talked about, right? And the other one, it's for the animals, okay, for the animals from land and water. So how often they can go, because we can keep that railroad track or that small roads, right, for those years. As soon as does not pass 10 years, that's fine. So let's keep up to 8, I think is reasonable. And after that, you know, if we see, but I think that we're doing really good. So if you already have fisheries in your country, companies, right, big companies, they were not going to close them down. They're going to keep working. We're going to take all these things out, right? Okay. So the other thing I didn't say as well is for islands that will be not authorized, and they are to be put down. So how are we going to do that? We are going to tell how many meters underwater they have to be taken out to avoid, let's say, if they are or they are not in a route of fisheries that we're going to have for a few years, right? So all this needs to be evaluated. So if they are on a route of fisheries, we need to take them down more meters from the surface. If they are not, just a few meters is fine. So maybe it will be 5, 10, 20 meters. So we have to figure these details, not more, I don't think is needed, right? Because the rest, we have a lot of technology now that we can use for all fisheries, right? So we keep those things that we have right now, okay? Until, how many years will be needed. All right. But the fisheries afterwards, they're not going to be part of the countries that we're closing down. They're going to be part of the existing countries, of course, and we can still have trips during summer vacation, winter vacation, depending where is the area, for them to keep catching non-fish and mammals. The other detail, for very polar areas, we have to take all animals in land out, all of them, because we don't want them to be there, live in a situation they are, right? So that's very important. These include penguins, the best as possible, walruses, and sea lions, and everything else. So we're going to use the techniques, technology, and materials we have right now and get them out completely and keep cleaning and keep cleaning and keep cleaning. And teams will still go in during summer to clean more. Okay, so they can go on small ships, right? Or whichever it is, but we have to keep cleaning until all is clean. We're not leaving those species by themselves there because they're going to reproduce, and it makes no sense, because the mammals, the animals need to, and the penguins too, we don't want them in the middle of nowhere. We need birds here, warm weather, right? Okay, so that is very important for us to keep going during summers and during the time is needed, right? Because big animals is easy, right? And keep going during summers to clean everything, all right? Okay. And families will sign up and have summer vacations working for extra points, but doing things that are needed. All right, so let's talk about woods, okay? Woods. From national parks, state parks, and from regular land, government land, private land, okay? Let's say a few words about that now. Okay, so every wood's gonna have a study. So what will be the most sustainable for that area? For example, put down soft wood trees for mulching, for them to be easy to break down, or not. Keep them as they are, exactly as they are. All right, that's one option, right? Two options. The other option, it's needed to take some down to give room for fruit trees or not. They already have space available for fruit trees, okay? So we need to study, because everywhere we need lots and lots of fruit trees, nut trees that will grow in the area, of course. And the countries, and depend how big they are, they don't have enough nurseries, right, to offer the biggest trees they already have, such as 1-2 meters, right? So they have more chances to survive, right? And water them during these 28 weeks, right? On summer, spring and summer, right? So we will have most trees as possible. So right now, while we have airports, they can transport. We can make the bulb of the that's just a word, the wrap of the root system really well, so they can go in airplanes laying down if they don't have trains. But if they have trains, they can go standing up, they can go laying down, as soon as we make a good wrap at the root system, right? And avoid the most as possible to bring containers. If they're in plastic containers, okay, they go, the plastic containers come, so we can plant more for the next year, right? But that will be very important for us to figure those details up. The other thing that the team needs to get organized, how the people that will be working gonna be, right? So are we having again, what we're keeping? We're keeping the small roads, right? With some trailers. I don't think that, but might be an option, right? With a few trailers, right? Truck trailers for the families to sleep and eat, right? If there's not railroad, if they have railroad tracks, of course, that's priority, right? Because we just have one wagon for each thing, right? So one wagon can have, let's say, a family sleeping and another one things to eat, right? As we already talked about that. And each family can have some trees right beside them, right? So to avoid two families to be sleeping together the same wagon. That's for the trips, right? Summer vacations. All right? So we need a plan how that will be done for every year to use the same. So we just keep the railroad tracks. That's fine. Okay? And have a very good mapping of those woods. A very good map needs to be included. So, for example, every state park, every national park, gonna get the people that already work there and make a map. So, which areas they're already well planted? We're just gonna add some fruit trees. And which areas are empty? We're gonna have mostly fruit and nut trees, right? Okay, so we need the map of these areas. Which ones are well forested and which ones are not. We're gonna plant the whole thing. All right? Okay, so here it is. I think I'm done now. And more details we're gonna add up afterwards. All right, my friends, we really appreciate your cooperation. Please, if you're a volunteer, share this video with all universities of those countries so they can already start organizing, getting ready, high schools, and everyone you can, okay? Oh, and of course, the government office also need to clean up. Everyone cleaning up their documents. They're going to have a two-page up to 4 sides report. For the government is an exception. They can add up to 10 documents, special documents, when they were created or something. Okay, so we will keep that at the city office related. That will be the closest. All right. Now, I'm going to let you know how we're going to do that. All right. So, for you to have an idea, we get this line here on the top of Portugal. Our line going to be more or less here. You see this line there? Portugal and Spain, right there, see? Here. Okay, and if you get Beijing here, right, you make a line right there. All right, so if I get this, so it's right here, Beijing and Portugal, just for us to have an idea. It's not really straight, but it's more or less like that. Okay, all those countries will be cleaned up. All right. Okay, so let's just give some example of each one, right? All right. So once we're doing a rule for everyone the same, that's how we're going to be done. So let's say here, Iceland, get the last city here done, and we clean up the last things in ships, come to here. This comes to here, this comes to here, the last little bit, right? Or by airplane, right? The last very few things, right? Such as the people, their documents, okay? So all these countries, look here, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Poland, Germany, all of them gonna go towards the equator. When they finish, remember I said when they get all their documents ready, all their files, everything is really completed right here in the city, right? The city that we established, that can be by railroad track or by a small road, right? So how are we gonna do that? They are going to send to us, so they have to keep. All right, so about 4 weeks before they really close down, so on an estimated time, 4 weeks, because they're gonna have reports being done over and over, but when it's about that time, we are going to let them know how those boxes will be shipped, because we're going to have everything at our chosen location, okay? That will be in Florida or in Brazil, where will be the international university. They're going to keep all these documents of these countries that are closing down, okay? All right, so they, as soon as they have everything, because everything gonna be sent in proper alphabetical order, everything really ready, just to get out of the boxes and put in proper file cabinets to this international city office that we're going to have. And I don't know yet where we will have, but we're gonna figure out what's the safest place, because it's important for us to keep those documents, right? Okay, so all these countries, that's how they are going to do. Okay, that's how they're going to do. They are going to send to us. So when they complete everything, about 4 weeks, we're gonna let them, the person in charge, right, of the boxes. We're not having a few boxes once and then more boxes afterwards to avoid problems. You know, we're gonna have everything at once with proper check-up lists, right? Okay, this county, okay, check, 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 check. Okay, so state, this state has all this, let's do over here. So for example, here's one state, have all these counties. Another state have just 2 counties, another state, right? So this way, we're gonna check everything that's arriving to make sure, so we are not having anything shipped in parts. Okay, the shipment gonna be probably by airplane, right? Go straight to our international city office at once. Everything from the whole country gonna get at once. Now, for countries that they have a half wheel still there, so here, right? Yeah. So, Portugal, Spain, Greece, Italy. We don't see Italy here, see? Oh yeah, France. France will be covered up, yes, look, because the line is more or less here. But Italy, still Greece, okay? Turkey, just gonna lose a little bit. No, I think the whole Turkey stays. Those countries gonna keep their documentation to their own country city office. That will be the university, chosen university, right? No, sorry, city office, not university, city office, okay? All right, so all these countries that gonna go down and still authorized, that's how it will be done, okay? All right, my friends, okay, so thank you so much for your cooperation. And all places that are weird, also we are going to take them down. I'm gonna show you just one example of places that, not take down, sorry, no one gonna live there because it's not reasonable, or because of their latitude, or because of their situation, because some countries we can cancel living as a living area as well, because they're not sustainable and positive. So I'm going to show you here. Look at that. This is in Japan. I don't know how high, I have no time to search it up, how high they are, but we don't need things like that. And Japan is one of the countries gonna stay, right? So all these areas, leave it alone, plant trees, right? Do the best we can, because we don't want any area like that, all right? Okay, and Japan, you see here, Japan gonna stay, look, because Beijing is here, so the whole, yeah, it might be on this part, yeah, this part, oh, sorry, this part of Japan is not staying because Beijing is here, yeah. Okay, so that picture I showed you, it might be above the line, okay, all right. Okay, my friends, so thank you so much for all your cooperation, and please share, and let's get organized and ready. Thank you. See you soon.